Okay, so it's Friday, August 26th. The big headline today is the very first thing I'm going to talk about, although you don't want to leave because I'm going to be talking about a lot of really interesting things today. The first thing is this. It's from the Institute for the Study of War. Russian forces did not make any claimed or assess territorial gains in Ukraine today for the first time since August 18th. And then that one was like for the first time for a month before that, if I recall correctly. So got zero ground. Now, they haven't gotten a lot of ground, but they keep chipping away at things, like taking this little bit. I mean, like going through a wood chipper to do it, but they keep getting like little bit by little bit. And today they gotten zero, nothing, nada, not at all, not 1 square inch. Okay, the International Economic Agency stated that unspecified actors, certainly Russian forces, because there's no Ukrainians around, reconnected Zaporizhia. That is kind of relieving because that could have been a very, very bad thing. Here we see the same thing reflected in, this is Interfax Ukraine, reflecting the same thing that the power grid, the uh, nuclear power plant is reconnected to the power grid finally, which is very helpful because if that could go wrong and be very bad for humanity. Okay, next, how Ukraine, this was such a fascinating article, and I'm going to show you a couple fascinating articles here, and then we're going to have fun with RT and Pravda like we normally do. How Ukraine turns cheap tablets into lethal weapons. This $150 so tablet, that's what they use to identify their targets and then coordinate and hit with great precision. The American military assessed that the Ukrainians on a 1 to 10 scale are a 12 in fighting. Here's part of the reason why. Because years before Russian invaded, in 2014, there were rallies, and Yanukovych was chased away. He fled, and so in revenge, Moscow annexed Crimea and then started the war in Donbass, right? And so this organization called Army SOS raised money, procured flak jackets, military gear, and then they started. One of the things they said was, "Give us maps. We need maps. We only have the Soviet maps." Okay, so they started with a tech solution with some iPad kind of thing. And they can measure distance, enter coordinates, guide and calculate and fire artillery. It factors in the weather. It is amazing stuff. And it's an example of a private initiative from civilians that are helping the cause. The software turns any Android-based tablet that costs about $150 or more into a basic unit of precision guidance. I mean, that's freaking amazing. The tablet can transmit coordinates and tell you where the artillery should be going and all. And if it falls into Russian hands, you can use that to target them, because if you know that it's fallen into their hands, then they get the wrong password or whatever. You can then fire on them. So that's pretty awesome. Okay, Shmihal, this is the prime minister, says Ukraine is to receive customs-free visa regime this year. That is that it won't cost things to move in or out of any European territory, including Ukraine, and so that's going to be pretty awesome for them. That's a great step forward. Iran, on the other hand, is supplying Russia with hundreds of drones, so they've weighed in on the other side of that. Not so smart, Iran. And now this is RT. We're going to have some fun with Pravda and RT. Not even Pope Francis is safe from Kiev's wrath. Holy Father is the latest subject of Ukraine's fiery judgment. So after a meeting of mentioning the death of Daria Dugina, that's Alexander Dugin's daughter, a young Russian journalist and political activist, Pope Francis has faced the anger of Kiev and thinks it has a monopoly on innocence. Well, okay, so here's what he prayed. Whether they're Ukrainians or Russians, I think so much of the cruelty of the many innocents who are paying for the madness of all sides, because war is madness. Pope Francis tells his flock, I think of the poor girl Daria Dugina, who was blown up by a bomb in a car seat. The innocent pay for war. Well, she's not exactly an innocent, but she wasn't an active combatant, so he's right. And that now this received this. This was a some. Now I said the same thing at the same time. Like, you can't equate this one person with all the destruction in Ukraine, but I get the Ukrainians being upset. Today, the speech of Pope was disappointing and made me think about many things. I can't even speak in the same categories about aggressor and victim, rapist and raped. How possible to mention one of the ideologists of imperialism as an innocent victim? She was killed by Russians as a sacred victim and is now on the shield of war. And she was an ideologue. She equated Bucha with the word butcher and said it was all fakes because of the language connections. That's why they did fakes there, and like, come on, really? And this is the actual tweet, so you can see that as well. Okay, more fun. President Lukashenko says his military aircraft can now carry nukes. Now, there was a conversation with Lukashenko and Putin, um, I don't know, like a month in, 2 months in, I don't remember when it was, where Putin was saying, hey, we can retrofit your airplanes to carry nukes. Well, now they can. And he says, well, do you think we were just talking here? All is ready, says Lukashenko, as he's talking about his military planes can carry nukes. Belarus has finished. This is the same thing covered by RT. RT is Russia Today. Belarus has finished preparing some of its military aircraft for the possible deployment of nuclear weapons. Why? Because the Poles, they're training to deploy nuclear warheads. They're not really like, it's all smoke and mirrors. Anyway, okay, next. Okay, so here's another one. Coca-Cola reluctant to leave Russia. This is another thing where you see what the Russians actually do with their state media. They kind of say something that's kind of true, but kind of lie. Here's what I mean. Coca-Cola has left the market. Coca-Cola is the syrup inside the bottle, okay? And they work with bottlers to bottle it, okay? But they don't say it like this. U.S. soft drink giant Coca-Cola will sell its iconic product in Russia under the Dobry Coca-Cola brand. And so I read the article and I go down. It doesn't say a whole lot. So we look up. Let's look up Dobry. Okay. So we're going to go here. We're going to click Dobry and see what's in the news. And it means good. Okay. So let's look at news. Dobry Cola. And here's Reuters. Coca-Cola bottler starts making Dobry Cola. So that tells you right there that it is a bottler. It's not Coca-Cola itself. So Reuters is like AP in the United States. Reuters is like a European version. They're an aggregator of news. So Coca-Cola HBC has started making a local cola, Dobry Cola. So this is the Coca-Cola bottler. So let's click on their symbol and see about their symbol. Who is Coca-Cola HBC? Okay, and it comes up, and Coca-Cola HBC AG is a Switzerland-based bottler of Coca-Cola products. So this is a bottler, it's Switzerland-based, it's not Coca-Cola itself, but if you were just to read the article, you would think it was something completely different than what it is. Like oh, we have to come back to Russia because you're so awesome. That's what they're trying to make you think. Okay, that's all the news that we have for today. Thank you. If you're still watching, please subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow.